And we're live. It is Hack a Pumpkin time. Hey everybody, we got some 5 really cool people here, well 4 really cool people and me. So we're going to talk about Hack a Pumpkin. We've done this for the last, I don't know how many years. Allie, how many years has it been?
This is the 7th annual Hack a Pumpkin we have now had. My name's Allie, if I haven't introduced myself. I am a maker, builder, and inventor, and I started the Hack a Pumpkin Challenge 7 years ago, and this is now the 7th year of making pumpkin hacks. So basically just making anything with a pumpkin.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'll jump in. I'm Kevin Walseth. I work at DigiKey, and that's really what I do. I'm not as cool as the rest of these. I'm not as creative, but I also like to hack pumpkins and break things and start things on fire. So we're all part of the same kind of realm here. We'll move over to that side, and Jay, you can go next.
Oh, it's me next. Hi, I'm Jay. I also work for DigiKey, except I am creative and inventory and really like blowing stuff up. Yeah, I really didn't think of an intro. I probably should have thought of an intro. Nate's next.
I'm Nate. I also work for DigiKey. I'm in the marketing area under technical content. So Jay is kind of the creative part of his robots, and I help him to get some of the things to actually function behind the scenes. Other than that, you can kind of tell from what's behind me, I like to play with hardware and always tinkering and learning about new stuff.
Yeah, and I'm Elijah. I don't work for DigiKey. I just participate in the Hack Pumpkin Challenge every year I can. Yet, maybe. I just got off working for the Coney Island Maker Fair, so. But yeah, no, I just participate in the Hack Pumpkin Challenge every year I can, and sort of do not really that useful, but in my opinion, slightly funny ideas.
Hey, as long as it's with a pumpkin, it counts. So you got it going for you.
This year's barely on there.
You can put anything into a pumpkin. I mean, just ask Jay. When we get
even if it just says pumpkin in the title or like somewhere in a sentence in the description of your work, then that would count, honestly. So
I thought of a pumpkin while I was making it.
There you go. I would say I don't make the rules, but you know. So.
But you can bend the rules.
Wait, there was rules?
Not really.
You told me that.
So, Allie, what have you been up to? You know, we've seen some things on the social medias, but what are some of the things you're up to lately?
Yeah, so right now I am in my first year of college for pharmacy, which nobody was expecting, but I thought it would be fun to kind of combine my interest in the health field and STEM while also not being a doctor, because I could not stomach being a doctor. But I feel like pharmacy is a good field to be able to help people and still innovate in the health sciences kind of area. But in my free time on the weekends, I've kept working on projects. I've done a couple Hack a Pumpkins this year, one of which I finished literally minutes before I joined this stream. So yeah, it's going pretty good.
Perfect. Jay, how about you? What have you been up to in the past year or?
Well,
lately?
I was in Rome a few days ago, which was fun. Did Maker Fair Rome. Life-wise, I've just been making projects this entire year. I've actually made the most projects out of my entire career this year. So I'm a little burnt out, but I'm still cooking.
Awesome. What's your favorite project you've made in the past year?
Binary. My little roller, that robot that shoots bubbles. It's been my favorite thus far. I feel bad admitting that I have a favorite. I'm sorry, my other robots, if you're hearing this. Don't kill me in my sleep. But I love the interaction of his little robots. I love it being able to blow bubbles. I love that it's so adorable, and I really can't wait to make upgrades to it. But it's going to take a little bit more time because I am very slow right now due to SuperCon coming up next. So I got to prepare for that next. Then I can finally sit down, do some documentation, and work on other robots for the future.
Awesome. Nate, how about you? What have you been working on? What are some of the cool projects you've either done or helped out with, or just kind of like big wins, or I don't know, whatever you want to say for this year?
I guess some of the projects that I've been working on recently, I'm really into Home Assistant, so I'm constantly adding on more stuff with that. ESP Home, adding more sensors and whatnot. Actually, just this evening, I found some information on how I can directly interface with my water heater, so I don't have to go through their cloud connection anymore, which is awesome. So I've got to order some more hardware. I know a good place where I can get it. Other than that, I've been playing with Raspberry Pis a lot recently, just because I've had quite a stockpile of them, and they were so hard to get. So I felt guilty having Raspberry Pis that weren't in use. So I've been doing things like video streams and time-lapse sky cameras and things like that with the Raspberry Pis. I don't know, not a whole lot of like cool projects, but just like more just useful, boring stuff, I guess.
I would like to interject in this one. Nate helps me with a lot of my projects, so I pretty much call him the stepfather of all of my robotic children. Because I am very bad with code, and every time I get frustrated and I can't do it anymore, I run to Nate and I'm just like, please help me. And Nate's just like, oh, this is almost done. You just have to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, great. It took me 7 days. It took me 2 hours.
You had it 90% of the way there.
So
that's like me and Elijah. I always contact him like every time I have a problem with my code, and I send an SOS like, "This is what my screen looks like. What should it look like?"
And then I feed your question right into ChatGPT.
That works. So yeah, so Jay, it's kind of like trying to open the pickle jar. You can't quite get it, and you give it to someone, and it pops open. You just loosened it for Nate.
You know what? Fair. I'll take all of that because programming is hard, guys. Mechanical stuff is easy. You gotta make one thing move a certain way. Sitting down and coding, I have to have like a Red Bull. I have to have Lo-Fi Girl going on in the background. I gotta like have a whole setup going just to focus enough to program. It's very hard.
So do you guys have any suggestions what I should do with this Raspberry Pi 5?
Oh, is that who I think it is? Because if so, give it back to him because that's messed up.
No, it is a Pi 5, and I don't know. I think I should maybe do something pretty cool with it.
But what is that Travis's?
It was mine, and then it was Travis's, and then that was mine again.
You see,
I mean, I've been working on some ideas for mine too. So
are we just showing off our pies now? It just feels like a totally different type of.
Well, when Nate brought up how sought after Raspberry Pis were, the 4s, everybody wanted a 4 because they were unavailable, and the Raspberry Pi is such a powerful device. And then they launched the Pi 5, and everybody's like, "Oh, Pi 5!" And Nate and I were lucky enough to get our hands on one. And Jay, you have one somewhere, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's going into my secret robot project. That one will not be released until much later, but I have been studying up on how to use it properly, and it's so much faster. But all crazy AI plans will be going into my Pi 5 now.
The only challenge I've kind of hit with it so far and just playing around with it is, and it's not because of the Pi 5, it's because of the new operating system, Bookworm. The default Python environment is now locked, so you need to study up on how to use virtual Python environments.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Python is not my forte, so yeah.
You can force install it. It's a really scary looking flag, but it pretty much just installs it.
Yeah, I've tried that a couple times, and it gets mad at me when I do that. But I feel like I should learn the proper way to do it because I don't think we're going to go back to that unlocked Python environment.
From a person who's all self-taught, there's no proper way. There's just getting it done. If it's done with hot glue and duct tape and gum, if it works, then just don't look under the hood. They don't need to know how it happened.
That's 99% of my projects.
Yeah, there's a way that the developer wants you to do it, and then there's the way that's like actually efficient.
Yeah.
Right.
Stand by that. Whatever way it works, as long as it works, that's the main goal of any project. Don't ask me how it works. This is why I'm bad at documentation, because I'm pretty sure halfway out there I blinked out and it just started working for me. Oh, what is this? What do we have here?
I didn't mean to pull that up so quick. Sorry.
Bust it. Too late.
Well, now we got to move on to that.
Now you have
That's
to.
what I was going to do next. I was trying to get it queued up, so I acted like I was actually doing something really thoughtful in it.
So what did they say? Something with a pumpkin and chicken?
Yeah. So, I mean, Allie, I was going to let you kind of introduce it. So let you go
Yeah.
ahead and introduce it.
So basically, what I had seen online was a lot of people were scraping into the front of a pumpkin, and then their chickens would carve the pumpkin. And these chickens came up with some pretty unbelievable designs. And so I was like, there's no way that just these chickens are carving these pumpkins. So I decided to put it to the test, and here's the video to show what I did.
All right, let's see. Hopefully the sound works. Let me know if it doesn't. I'll redo it quick.
And I heard that if you carve just a
It
little bit
works.
into a pumpkin,
I can hear it.
and they will peck the rest of the way into the pumpkin and like carve the pumpkin themselves. So I'm going to try this out today. I'm going to use this fork to scrape into this pumpkin, just a simple little couple eyes and a mouth, and see what they come up with. This is what we're working with here. I don't know if you can really see it, but we'll see what the chickens come up with.
That's impressive.
Right?
There we go, guys. So in terms of can chickens carve a pumpkin, this is confirmed.
That's amazing.
That's clever. Also, does everyone have chickens just lying around? Like, is that a thing? Because like
I'm from South Dakota. There are chickens every couple blocks, so
I didn't see.
I
Wait,
was
there are
looking
chickens.
right?
I was
They're
looking
just
up that my
nobody.
neighbors had chickens that I could borrow and like give a little pumpkin treat. But it's kind of crazy because all I did was make like basically a straight line with the fork. I don't know if you can really see it well in the video. And then they made the whole like smiling mouth by themselves. It was crazy. So yeah.
So next year, can you take the opposite approach and grow one of like those giant pumpkins and put the chickens inside and then burst out like
And then
alien
see where
style?
they come out and what to
Exactly.
There's gotta be some like animal abuse thing to put chickens in the giant pumpkin.
They were having a good time. They were mad when I took the pumpkin away because they wanted to keep eating it. So I think they'd have a great time.
I
Don't
think
know
they
how great
would-
the pumpkin would turn out, but
I don't think they want to keep eating it. I think they were just into their artistic design and they wanted
Yes.
to build on it.
chickens don't
I think
normally
that was
get
just
to be
cool.
creative. So
Right. So
yeah.
you gave them that avenue and you took it away.
Channeling my inner Gonzo and just giving these chickens their opportunity.
I mean, it's in a way automated pumpkin carving after you do a little bit of work. Where's
Yeah,
the
there
world
you
where
go.
we figured out this before the Industrial Revolution, where we have chicken automated like transistors?
Poor chickens. They get eaten, their eggs get taken, and now we're trying to put them into the workforce.
Hey, it's not bad if they like it. So
Yeah, if the B movie taught us anything.
All right, I want to see somebody's pumpkin on this call. Who's first?
I guess I'll go first. I didn't have much time because, of course, I came back from Rome. So I made a crawler candy dispenser. It is not very fast, but I can put candy on top of the head, and they can just crawl around and distribute candy. It's a pretty fun build. It has some issues still needing to be worked out, but like all in all, it's a pretty quick build.
It's not creepy at all.
I mean, it has candy. I mean, it's that weird in between being like, oh, it may kill me, or it may give me some candy.
It's not as bad as the one that screams when you carve it from a couple years ago.
I have that video queued up next. Even though it was last year, I
Mhm.
still want to play that video just because it was pretty funny.
That's oh man, the guilt.
I think I might have to just do it now because
Yeah, you might as well do it now.
You just talked about it. You might as well show it. Yeah.
Right. Okay, hold on 1 second.
He's searching for it. While he's doing that,
I'm not even certain. I had it pulled up. I'm just trying not to screw things up.
we're
You can
makers.
do it.
Story of my
Screwing
life.
things up is kind of half of our job.
All right. I
As long as you do it in a fun way. Yeah, there it is.
All right, here we go.
There's no
There's no
sound.
sound.
Yeah. All right. We can talk for a minute. I'll fix that.
Our host, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin. Everyone give him a round of applause. Yeah, he's doing his best.
I am
All right.
so grateful that for these 7 years, I have never once had to set up one of these Zoom calls. All I've had to do was just call in, and then it's all like beautiful. And look, we got our own little name tags. It has like usually the DigiKey logo in the corner. It's so fancy.
Yeah. Well, next year it's on you.
I'll try my best to figure that out.
Hey, not it. There's already a lot to worry about before that time comes.
Hack a pumpkin more like hack a live stream.
It can be done. It's been done on Twitch, so you can definitely hack someone's live stream.
That sounds like something Elijah would do, though.
Not without their permission. That would be a crime. And I'm not a criminal yet.
I mean, have you looked at the laws in your, state of origin and see all the random ones that you probably have broken without thinking about it?
Well, from my perspective, until I look the law up, until it's proven to me, isn't it in a super state of both having been broken and not being broken?
Schrodinger.
Law?
Yeah, true. But as people in my area would say, until you get caught, it's not illegal.
Very true.
Let's try this again.
I've been breaking
Here we go.
Okay,
What are you doing? I'm just hacking my pumpkin. I can turn it to kid-friendly mode. Is that better?
Violence against pumpkins. There's probably a multi-dimensional verse where that's actually a serious crime.
I don't know. I thought it was a good video. I enjoyed it.
It's great. Yeah.
I love how the kid-friendly version is a lot more terrifying than the regular version of it.
Yeah, the kid-friendly version enjoys being stabbed.
We had such a long discussion about this last time.
We did. It was a good time. We had some fun talks, and
we have fun here.
I'm hoping next year we can create something really cool.
For sure.
So
Nate, next.
I think Nate should go next.
Yeah, I agree. Nate should go next.
All right. Well, in keeping with the theme that everybody else has, I didn't have a whole lot of time. So this is what I put together. And it is a voice-activated pumpkin. So it's just, it's kind of blown out on camera. You can't really see the eyes so well, but it does have pupils. It's kind of looking around randomly. It blinks, it squints. But yeah, basically the mouth moves according to the sound that it hears.
So what are you using for both the eyes and the mouth?
Yeah, I'm wondering that too.
They are those little tiny, like 1 inch by 1 inch dot star LED matrices from Adafruit.
Okay.
So I've got one for each eye, and then there's 5 of them across for the mouth. I guess I can let you see the
inner workings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then little tiny Arduino chow board in there for the brains of it.
Oh, those things are so small.
Yes.
I love the way that he talks. It reminds me of the Wallace and Gromit art style. I don't know why. Like the way his mouth moves when it's sound activated.
I mean, I can see that.
Hey, honestly, you remind me of something from Halloween Town. I'm having full on 90s kid Disney flashbacks. Like, hey,
The The mouth actually looks better blown out on the camera than it does in person. Eyes are the opposite. The eyes look better in person, but so I guess
It
if
looks
you win
amazing.
some, you lose some.
I find myself looking at the pumpkin instead of you when you're talking.
Yeah, you want to
That's
just
kind of what I read. I mean, I could just
Yeah.
there we
I
go,
think you should turn it into a wearable.
right?
It's the vessel.
This is the new Nate.
Nate, no, we can't have a new Nate. That Nate can't program. I'm sorry. That's just the rules.
You don't know that. You haven't tested it yet.
I think that Nate is programmed. So I mean, I think it should be able to program.
I don't think I count that.
I love it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Allie, you said you had 2 of them.
Yeah, so basically, like 2 hours before the stream started, well, a couple weeks ago, I wanted to do a kind of a big project for Hack a Pumpkin, because I'm into bug dioramas and I love bug dioramas. So I was like, I should make a Hack a Pumpkin bug diorama, and so I had these really big, grand ideas for it, and then weeks went by and I just didn't have time, like when I was home from school, to do any of it. But when I came home today, like 2 hours before the stream started, then I had all the materials out to do like a little bell jar. And so then I was like, oh, I'll just try to speed run it. So this is what I was able to come up with I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
We'll see if it can focus, but it says Hack a Pumpkin at the top. It's got a tiny little jack-o'-lantern, and then it's got a couple beetles. And the one's holding a little bit of a pumpkin, and then the other one is like holding the front. I like the front one because he's a little orange guy. Oh, there we go. Now it'll focus. And yeah, the banner says Hack a Pumpkin. The banner was probably the hardest part. But these are real preserved bugs. And then a little foam pumpkin from the dollar store. I used balsa wood for the posts, and then pieces of brown paper bag for the sign. And then the bottom is real moss and leaves. So yeah,
I think it's missing a mini chicken.
it is missing a mini chicken. Yes.
It feels very Beetlejuice.
I was thinking the same thing, especially that one standing in the back. Like that's Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Well, I did do a Beetlejuice bell jar last year with the house from Beetlejuice with a spider on top, like in the intro of the movie. And that got featured at the Washington Pavilion Science Museum at my hometown, and I still haven't gotten it back. So I was like, I want to do a pumpkin, because that one wasn't really pumpkin related. So I was like, I'll do a pumpkin related one this time. And it was a lot of fun. It was a fun challenge. May or may not have had a breakdown, but it's fine. It's part of the process.
Just for the record, she said Beetlejuice 3 times. So if it shows up, it'll show up there.
It happens.
Just in case.
It's been known to happen sometimes. Well, hey, the new movie is coming out, so.
I did see that.
So. Yeah. I'm not saying that I caused that, but I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you want to take credit, I say go for it.
If all of us say it enough times, the movie will come out earlier.
Why wouldn't they release it right before Halloween?
I don't know. I don't know when it's coming out. It might be next year, but I know that they're filming, and I've seen set photos. Okay. Winona Ryder's still in it, and a couple of other people, but I'm not sure. So, yeah. I hope it'll be good. I love the original, so.
I'm still waiting for Ghostbusters. Stand by that.
Yeah.
All right, Elijah.
Yeah. My pumpkin is a little bit bugging out right now, but I can sort of explain the general idea because I only had a little bit to work on it. Since I dorm in Manhattan, I only have so long at my workshop. So it started with a stream of consciousness. What my pumpkin is, let me start off with that, is going to be, by Halloween, it is going to be a pumpkin that can detect what Halloween costume you're wearing using a custom TensorFlow model trained by one of the default TensorFlow models. Let me explain how this works. Currently, I have a Google image scraper. It takes an array of the top 100 Halloween costumes that I give it, and it downloads a set number of the first images that come up on Google Images for each Halloween costume. Currently, I have it set to a low number for testing, but for greater purposes, I plan for like 100 per term probably, which is why this is going to take until Halloween. Now, what I currently have it doing is it's downloading the images, and in order to train another TensorFlow model based off of those images, it has to also include an XML file that annotates the images. Currently, it's generating a base XML file that highlights the entire image and just says that the entire image is what it says it is, the costume that it says it is. But there are complications with that where it will download a larger image and there will be other stuff in it and it'll get confused. So what I'm currently doing is I'm downloading all the requisite files in order to run a TensorFlow model to detect a person and then crop out the person because every costume has a person under it. And so that will be a properly annotated and cropped data set to feed in to train another TensorFlow model that will just be running on a live camera, and it will be connected to a speaker and it will tell you what you're dressed up as. However, I just got to mash all the individual pieces together. I have everything working separately. Unfortunately, the only code that I could show right now just started bugging out because I had it take user input because I wanted to be fancy about the input of the strings. But now it's like bugging out trying to convert variables, and I can't control Z back that far. But look out for it on Halloween.
And this,
Sounds pretty
ladies and
cool.
gentlemen, and other people, binary people, is why programmers get paid so well. Because if you're not willing to go through horrible amounts of pain and trying to figure out why your code doesn't work, why you're chugging an energy drink in a Winnie the Pooh outfit, are you really a programmer?
No, I'm dressed. You know what? I don't want to make any political jokes.
Yeah, see.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that's a good call. So I'm assuming we can expect to see it on your social channels on Halloween.
Oh, of course. One thing that when I get very tired, I find something that super helps out is writing out pseudocode, because partially when you're in like the fog of actually coding, it helps you stay in a direction. And so I have so much documentation, I kind of have to turn this into a video.
You know, last time I got to visit DigiKey headquarters, they had like a phone booth that was like a soundproof area for programmers to like work in. And I can't help but to imagine you really just go in there and just start crying. Like, it's where people have their like breakdown booth, you know, when your code just won't work. You don't know why. You just go into the booth and you just start sobbing like as loud as you can.
That's what those Amazon worker pods were for, the meditation pods.
I mean,
sometimes your code breaks down and sometimes you do, but it helps you understand what the code is going through. And that's how you know how to keep going.
I wonder how that must look. Like, well, if you're breaking down a minute and you're like sobbing in your head, and you suddenly have an epiphany of what's wrong with your code, do you like instantaneously pop up being like, wait, I understand now?
Yeah, you got to be pragmatic about these things. No more emotions.
It is a timeless concept, though, because we can look forward to in 1,000 years having angry domes that we can go into when things don't work out. You know, Futurama, angry domes.
I'm hoping we evolve into Vulcans. That's my personal hope, but I don't think humans are ready to like let go of those emotions yet.
Yeah, you know, Jay, just for reference, those phone booths at DigiKey, they're actually phone booths. They're not programming pods. Just throwing that out there.
I thought they were better men.
Why do you still have phone booths?
Yeah, wait, is it just to make a cell phone call, or is there actually a payphone in there?
Yeah, can you actually make calls from it?
We should put some like fake like payphones in there just for like legacy reasons or whatever. That'd be kind of cool. But they're really soundproof little rooms that you can go make a personal phone call.
Just put like a Superman costume in there.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Hey, you could just paint one blue and make it a phone box.
I feel like now I need to.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I feel like now I need to hook this thing up so that like I can pick it up and like dial a number and it'll get commit or something like that. You know, like every time the code works, it works.
You know, I showed my kids a phone like that one day and they had no idea how to use it.
Oh yeah, no.
I feel like that was the first phone I learned how to use, or probably like. Yeah, like when I was little, I had probably like a toy one of those or something. Because I remember learning that, and then shortly after learning our home cell phone, that was just like, you know, our home phone, and then calling my mom on it because she wanted to know if I actually remembered my phone number. But I remember using a rotary phone first, and we don't even have any, so I don't know why I have that memory. But
I mean, you can tell how old someone is nowadays when you say do the hand sign for phones because people are always do this now.
I do this. Yeah.
All they do is this
Why
now.
would anyone do anything else?
They do this yeah, that's how
This
you
is
know.
what a phone looks like.
The thing that I miss about these old phones like this though is that angry hang up, like clicking a button, it doesn't do it. You gotta have that.
Yeah.
That's
And then
that's why when I get mad,
satisfaction.
That's why when I get mad, I make sure to throw my phone at a rock.
That's expensive though.
Yeah, that is expensive. I like the ding as you slam it down.
Yeah.
I'm 50-50. I miss the old phones because I enjoy the ding and I enjoy the excitement of having the phone ring. Now that I'm older, when my phone rings, I'm very scared. It gives me anxiety. But I enjoy the fact that I can text people, and I know you see my text. You can lie about it all you want, but now I have read, so like I know you saw it.
I like watching the phone call until like it goes away.
Unless my phone usually says mom, dad, or someone very important, I'm just kind of like staring at it like, why are you calling me? Who are you?
That's the trick in trick or treat is if you call somebody on their phone and expect them to pick up.
Yeah.
Trick or treat, except like the pumpkin will say your IP address.
I mean, a really bad video could be like going around being like, I'll give you a whole bunch of candy if you can call somebody on your phone and they pick up. Now,
that would be funny.
A real scary pumpkin. You give it your email address and it scrapes the web for all of the personal data it can find on you.
That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
Well, now you have an idea for next year, Elijah.
Yeah.
I can get a head start.
All right, so my pumpkin, actually I broke all the rules. It actually isn't a pumpkin. Last year Allie couldn't stop laughing at my 3D printed pumpkin head of my face.
It was very funny.
It was. I remember you were almost crying. So I found this today. I just wanted to bring it up just for fun reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually my son wanted me to create a costume for him. And he's all into this DJ Marshmallow. So
the guy from Fortnite.
3D printed a DJ Marshmallow head.
You can't be saying that, Elijah.
The eyes are cut out. I mean, it looks better when the eyes aren't cut out, but he needed to see. So
true.
I just put a couple LED arrays, like 8 of fruit NeoPixel circles, and I programmed it with a Circuit Playground Express, and it just goes through a couple different cycles, and it was really cool. We're in they do some trick or treating for kids around town, and we were in some dark areas on Saturday night, and he just kind of lit up the whole way. I think next time I need to have like a blue fruit so I can change it out depending on where he's at, because it would have been really nice just to have all white, but he could have been the flashlight for the evening.
Yeah. It's funny. I asked Nate about that last week, I think, and I was like, how do you guys trick or treat out there? You guys live in a very small town, it's so dark out there. How do you guys trick or treat? Do you guys go into a forest, like a forest adventure, to run from the witch or something, to grab the candy and run back to the car really quickly?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Basically, yeah.
There's neighborhoods, but last year was incredible. It was like Halloween evening was like 60 degrees out. And
That's
right
awesome.
Now we have 3 inches of snow on the ground already.
Yeah, it snowed here today as well. This was the first snow of the year actually for us, and mostly melted, but where there are shadows, it's still there, which is lovely, and it's cold and windy as well. So super fun.
We still have snow, and it's been almost a week. It's
wow.
It's not okay. It is just not okay.
I'm just a city
30
boy.
today.
It wasn't cold enough or warm enough to melt the snow.
No.
Yeah, I'm hoping that now that I'm in college, I won't have to go outside to trick or treat, and I can just trick or treat in my building. And if they don't have candy, then I might just have to take something else in exchange.
I mean, it's called trick or treat.
True.
They have a choice. You knock on the door and you say trick or treat. They have a choice.
I'm gonna have to ask for those 3x5 note cards so I can use them on my tests, because I don't want to pay for the note cards, but I need them to use a note card on my test. So then I'm just gonna go trick or treating and be like, "Do you have 3x5 note cards?"
Trick or treat for college supplies.
Trick or treat for college, yeah, basically for college supplies.
I've got a safety helmet now for trick or treating in the dark.
Oh man, here we go.
Oh my god!
Hold on. I gotta make Nate big.
Yep. Pull it out, man.
Oh wow.
You got to go around and go be-doo, be-doo,
Yeah.
be-doo.
Dude, if I were a driver, I would intentionally hit the guy wearing that.
That reminds me of Diary of a Wimpy Kid when his mom made Rowley wear like all the safety gear to go trick or treating. That's what he was wearing.
On the bright side, they won't lose them.
That's true.
Yeah. No, this is one of those things. You know how like sometimes you make something that you want or something you need. This was one of those things where like the universe called on me to create this because I saw these lights are an Adafruit product, and I saw those. And as soon as I saw it on the website and I saw what it looked like, I'm like, I know what I have to do. So I got 3 of them and the safety helmet and put it all together. So
Nice.
It's
amazing.
hilarious, but at the same time, did the universe tell you to do it, or were you really, 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 really having a hard day?
He really, really had a grudge against epileptic people.
No, he been watching too much Minions. That's what happened. He was watching the Minion movie.
Yeah, the
Good
minions
idea.
wear that, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, which is
Funny.
despicable me too.
You guys don't realize you're attacking Nate. He had the best, most successful day that day.
Yeah, everyone avoided them and everything. They're just
Didn't have to answer any phone calls.
His life was complete when he finished that project. He sat down and then just like,
And then someone made the suggestion that I should wear it as I'm walking through the cubicles at work and like pull people over for walking too fast and whatnot.
oh my
That's
god.
great. That's
The
great.
hall monitor with that thing on.
I should, the Minions movie, when he's wearing that, he's coming out as a firefighter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should really do that I'm a volunteer firefighter, so I'm an ex-fire. I should go cruising at the fire wearing that.
Or the
Should
next time
definitely
you burst a battery in the office.
You have to bring that up every time we talk.
Hey,
I mean, somebody has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't burst batteries. Nate, did
It
you
was
burst
Allie's
batteries?
turn.
It just happens sometimes. It's what
What's
happens.
this bursting
okay.
batteries thing? I don't. What is the story?
Tell your story, Kevin.
Oh, do I have to tell my story? All right, I'll tell my story. I was changing a battery on an iPhone. Actually, no, I was changing a screen on an iPhone, and happened to do it while I was sitting up at DigiKey. And when I was putting the screen back on, I must have missed a screw, or I don't know what was in there, but it pierced the lithium battery. And when you pierce a lithium battery, it releases a lot of smoke. And I did that inside the DigiKey building. I really shouldn't say that on a live stream. That's really bad.
Hey, I'm not.
But it was like 5 years ago. So
It just happens sometimes. You let out
The
the magic
statute of
smoke,
limitation
and
for
then
that is
you
shortly
need
out.
another one, and then that's what happens.
Is
Yeah,
that,
Fine, you ran down the
is that
I
what
did
ran
it
down the 3
since
flights of stairs and threw it in the snow.
I did, and I burned my hand because it was so hot. And then I walked back upstairs, ready to face the reality of the situation. And our VP walks by. He's like, "Huh, what's that smell?" And he kept walking. So I felt like,
Oh
all
my
right.
god! When I was in 6th or I believe it was 7th grade, one of those automatically reclining theater chairs had ripped my friend's phone screen clean off his phone, so you could see the battery behind it.
I
And his
thought you
old
were gonna
phone,
say it
like,
ripped his arm off.
No, what?
Wow.
No.
That's
And
a
the
different
battery was
story.
just there, and I was bored, and I was like, I asked them, can I bend it? And so I just I bent it into an L shape, the lithium battery in the iPhone.
Oh man.
I mean, you gotta give lithium its props because it can take somewhat of a beating, but once those things get pierced even just a little bit, you might as well just start running. Or Kevin did jump to the snow. You guys have snow out there. It's
Yes,
fine.
that's true. We have snow now.
I haven't seen snow in like a year.
I
No.
haven't
seen snow in New York in a year.
I haven't seen snow in my entire life. Get on my level.
So we have a question in the chat. Kayla is asking, what is the best Halloween project you've ever created?
Halloween project?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be pumpkin related, just Halloween project in general. I can go first. I haven't done a lot of Halloween projects. I've done a few, but one of them that was just kind of the right timing was I took like a 5-inch PVC pipe, and it was about 12 feet long, and I ripped it in half on the table saw. So it was basically a U shape, 12 feet long. I put LEDs along the slide of it, and during COVID, we stood at the door and slid treats down to the trick or treaters, so we were 12 feet away from them.
Nice.
It was just it wasn't the best, but it was fitting.
I think
feel
my
like
last
mine-
year project was my personal favorite because my parents are living out here, so I got to hang out with my nephews who are both very young. And when I first saw them, I just came walking towards them with the mask, and they didn't know who I was. So they were already freaking out because of that. So I just had a fun time just trolling them and scaring them. Good times. There's nothing more fun than traumatizing people during Halloween.
There's nothing more fun than traumatizing people, period.
Right.
Well, do you want to talk about your Hack-a-Pumpkin last year, Elijah?
Oh, my Hack-a-Pumpkin last year. I actually have here. I have
I hope
the
it's not
like
still the
fake
same
version
pumpkin.
of it. Here, this is my
Oh.
last year's Hack-a-Pumpkin project. This is a foam pumpkin. I had to
Oh.
move it from a real pumpkin to a foam pumpkin.
I'm about to say,
But this is just yeah, no. I did not preserve the pumpkin that well. Actually, because it's foam, the TSA like manhandled my bag, so it's actually shattered. You can see I had to like glue it back together.
I have TSA is now my personal hated enemy right now because when I flew to Rome with my robots, they literally ripped through them, and 2 didn't survive, and they put a hole in Kevin's box. So there's a hole in your box now, Kevin. You know.
Top 10 things not to say on a live stream. The TSA are my personal enemy.
Brain gauge.
I mean, it's true. I think that's for all of us makers that make things that are concealed in tiny boxes with big red buttons, because it's the easiest. They're not going to like that, and so we just got to be at odds. We're just nemesis.
I'm just gonna write a note in there next time, being like, "Hey, this is what this is. Please don't destroy it."
I've
It
done that.
looks like a bomb.
Me too.
There's no other way to put it. This just looks like a time bomb. Like
Yeah,
You
I mean,
have to type
yeah.
in the correct code on the top in order for it to not detonate.
You know, that would be like the worst, like, I don't know, crime show movie. You'd be like, oh, look, here's the bomb. You have to deactivate it by typing in the code. You get this is the keyboard. You'd be like, what?
And all of the
Why-
keys are in inconvenient places.
if I were to do something like that, why would I make a code to deactivate the bomb? Why would I have to put it in at all?
Easy, because you're already in Gotham, because your bomb is a pumpkin. So you're already up in Gotham. So you got to make it very stylish and crazy. And it has to be a way to turn it off, because if not, it's not any fun.
I
All
gotta
right,
get
let's
on
move
the
on
news.
from the word
yeah.
bomb for a little while.
Oh,
Only-
yeah, I apologize.
The only
But
time I was
never
ever
had
stopped
on the
by
airplane, but yeah.
the only time I was ever stopped by TSA, it was coming back from a maker fair, and I'd met a bunch of people at the maker fair and like gotten a bunch of different boards and stuff. And I met Paul from PJRC, and he gave me, I think it was just released, like the Teensy 3.6 board. And so I wanted to make sure that I got that home safely, because like these things were unobtainium at the time. So I had a box of business cards that had a few out. So I slid it in where the few business cards were missing. And apparently when you have a box that's packed full of business cards and then a little electronic board inside of it, when that goes through an X-ray scanner, it looks like plastic explosives with a control device. So I found out don't pack your boards with your business cards.
There should be like a little thing for like makers who are taking projects to places to have like a to do and don't list type of like blog going on. Like, don't do this because this is how this looks, or do it this way instead. Like,
Right.
you may want to get
Oh,
on
yeah.
that for next year.
Well, but the problem is, if one of those lists were to exist, a real terrorist would use it. Like how to get things past the TSA.
One
Fair
time
point.
I've had to give the TSA person a live demo of my project in order for them to let me let it on. Like, it was the rubber duck that I had that was controlled by Adafruit Circuit Playground, I think, that had lights in it, and it played the duck song, and all it did was rotate in a circle and play the duck song. They were like, what is this? And so then I just set it on the table, and I turned the on switch, and it just started spinning around in a slow circle playing the duck song. And
Wait, why would
Yes.
they let you? Sorry, go on.
and TSA was like, that's fine.
I've had to do that a few times. I'd have to show them the project actually does what I say it does, or it just looks weird, which I can't tell if they're fans or just really good at their job. I don't know.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun. Going back to the actual question, there's a lot of fun Halloween projects that I've worked on over the years. I mean, this is the 7th Hack-a-Pumpkin, so there's been a lot of Hack-a-Pumpkin projects, obviously. But a lot of my favorite ones are really like costumes that I've made. For example, like this Freddy costume that I made last year that I wore for Halloween from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I also made, it's not really a Halloween costume, but the movie did just come out. I have this plush trap chaser that I redid out of an old animatronic that's really cool. So, yeah. The movie was good also. I liked it.
I want to see it, but scared to see it.
I have been hyped for this movie for so long. I've already come to terms with the fact that it's, I'm going to like it no matter what it is, if that makes
That's
sense.
true.
So, like, I can't be an objective judge.
There are definitely some problems with it, but at the same time, like, I feel like the good stuff outweighed the bad stuff. I gave it a 7.5 total, which is pretty good in my book for what I thought it was going to be. So, yeah. I liked it.
No spoilers.
I'm such a fan of practical effects too. The fact that they did all of the animatronics, like Foxy was just a real animatronic, and all this stuff, like I just want to see how they work, and I just want to.
All the kids dying were practical effects.
Well, no, not everything was practical effects.
Okay, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! We gonna pause there because y'all get.
Who doesn't know that? What? That's like the one thing the series has.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's keep it pushing.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
we'll not include anything
sorry,
else about the movie, but if you're a fan, be sure to check it out. Don't worry about it being awful because I don't think anybody thought it was really, really bad. Like, nobody was mad in the theater when they were leaving. Everybody had a good time. There was almost a fight, but that's because nobody knew there was an end credits scene, but that's all I'll say. So,
Wait, how did that cause a fight?
because everybody was trying to leave the theater and they were all being loud, and then the end credits scene started going. And everybody was like, quiet, everybody, quiet. And there was like panic like going on. Like everybody was trying to hear what was going on.
What's your favorite FNAF game? Just out
My
of
favorite
curiosity.
game?
Yeah.
Pizzeria Simulator, because you can't die in it. You played a certain.
Okay.
I'm too much of a scaredy cat to actually play like all the games. I tried to do one night with jump scares and I got killed almost immediately. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do it.
So jumping back to Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
Another question is, what's a good Halloween project for beginners? And I think, in my mind, the Adafruit Circuit Playground Express, we've talked about this little board for a number of years, and it's just incredible. It has everything you could need on it for creating a project. It has capacitive touch, it has input-output, it has buttons, it has LEDs, it has sensors. There's a light sensor, a temperature sensor, a noise sensor. There's even a speaker on it. And you can program it with block-based programming, Python programming, Arduino programming. It's just a great, great board.
Yeah, that's actually what I used for my Hack a Pumpkin project last year. My little puppet guy, Hacky Pumpko. Hello. How are you today?
Hacky Pumpkin. Okay.
It looks like Kermit the Frog when he talks.
Yeah.
I kind of do, but I'm more piratey.
That's like puppet racist.
What do you mean? I am a pumpkin. Anyway. Yeah, he has a circuit playground in his eye here. And right now, all I have it programmed to do is just light up and pulse like that. Because it was originally from a Wild Kratts costume that I made. I don't know if you know Wild Kratts, but yeah. It was pretty fun. And so you can repurpose these and it'll remember the code and stuff. I just have like a little battery pack here. He's just a cute little guy.
Yeah, it just is a really good product for creating projects, especially for beginners.
When it comes to your first Halloween project, I always recommend doing something other costume based, just because I feel like working on your costume for Halloween is very motivational by itself, and that will keep you wanting to do it compared to something just like superficial. So I always tell people for your first Halloween project or whatever like that, focus on making it a wearable costume thing because you will have way more fun with it than anything else.
Plus, then you can show off to your friends how good yours was, like, compared to the store-bought one.
Hey, store-bought ones nowadays are a bit different because they be having some good ones that are like, man.
That's true. But it's not always, like, fully customizable. You can get so much more detail when you're doing it yourself, and also half the time it costs way less. So.
Yeah, it really depends on your time limit, too, because sometimes you can always just take the costume and hack it and then be like, oh.
I mean,
this. And
if you value, it depends on really how much you like have, how much time you have, and how much you value that time, really. And I'm not saying people who do this stuff don't value their time. I mean, just how you weigh it in terms of your own personal schedule.
Yeah, because you gotta think.
You did hand solder that entire keyboard by yourself.
Okay, yeah, but that's because I don't value my own time.
But you probably learned valuable lessons while you were doing it. Like,
no,
not to do that again.
I didn't learn not to wait till the last second. I'm cutting it down to like the very end right now.
This is honestly better.
This
is honestly earlier than most years for you for your estimated end date.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah, I usually do upload it like an hour after Halloween ends for Central Time.
So does anybody on the call have a dream project that they'd like to do? And then, of course, what is it?
I want to get my Jeep painted finally.
Oh, the Jurassic Park Jeep.
Yeah. I've had my Jeep for several years now, pretty much right after I got my driver's license. Maybe even before. I don't even remember. It's been a long time. And it's had this awful red paint job that came with it that somebody tried to do by themselves, and it's peeling and it's chipping away and it's really bad. Like, she's cute, but she could use some help. And so I want to get it painted like the Jurassic Park Jeep, and it will take a lot of time and effort. And I don't know how to paint cars. I'd like to learn. I don't know if that's a possibility. So my dream project is kind of to keep working on my Jeep and make it look as good as it can be. So,
I think you should consider vinyl wrapping it instead of painting it.
I have considered that too. A little worried because I just want it to last forever, you know? Like I want to do like one and done. And so hopefully I'll have this car for the rest of my life. I don't want to jinx that. So, so I'm hoping that I'll get something that'll really, really last. And if vinyl is the way to go, then we'll see, but still working on that whole process. So yeah.
Nate, how about you? You haven't settled on it. I know you have so many projects on your mind that you want to do.
Yes. So I do have like a Halloween dream project, which actually it's part of the reason why I still have this is because this is a part of it. I'm sure most of us have probably seen the movie The Ring. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to get a VHS tape, get that video from The Ring, and put like a Hall effect sensor in there so it knows when you get to the end of the tape, and have a wireless transmitter so that you can play it in any VCR. And then if this is within range, when it gets to the end of the tape, it rings and you hear the 7 days.
I mean, I've never seen the movie, but I've seen references.
Yeah, if you haven't seen The Ring, it's a very good movie. It's pretty much you watch the tape and then the phone rings and then the weird ghost lady says you have 7 days to live, which is actually really nice because she gives you a whole week. Like
that's true. Yeah,
I feel like the horror movies wouldn't work the same with the new generation because a lot of them are already kind of narcissistic a bit. And they'd be like, "Oh, I got 7 days to live. Cool." Like
spending spree. Like, who cares? I don't have to pay back my credit cards.
Yeah, like, oh, debt, not anymore.
Right? Live that life.
I own The Ring, but I haven't actually gotten around to watching it. I don't remember if it's Korean or Japanese, but is that one better than the American one that came out after it, or which one's better, do you think? Like, as the original. I don't know if anybody's seen either.
I feel like they're both really good, but it really depends on your taste. So, like, I know some people prefer, like, Korean horror movies over American horror movies, but then at the same time, vice versa. So I feel like you should just give it a shot and give them both your own viewing time if you have that time. And then
double feature.
Yeah. I've
never seen either, but for no particular reason, I think the Korean one's better.
Anyway, back to the main question. Dream projects for me. My main dream project, which is like a life goal project, is Baymax from Big Hero 6. I've told people this many times. Like,
that's so fun.
That will be the project I would like. As soon as I finish that project and I know that it works, I will die happily. I will be done. I'm done now. You know what? Put me on my old gurney and take me away. But my next project is upgrading binary. I've been working on making some of the parts more foldable, so I can have more of a transformer-ish type of like, you know, turn into a small case that way it's a lot more cuter, and then fold out into a robot. And I think that's my next dream goal project, but that's taking a little bit longer than I thought it would because folding parts are fun, but also math and measurements and design problems and 3D printing is great, but they're not strong. So parts break and snap, so I have to put rods in them. Luckily I don't have a life, so I can spend more time on this, but that's where my dream project is. Just more robots.
Why do inverse kinematics when I could sleep 18 hours a day?
It's funny because I'm literally
That's funny.
I take my job seriously, guys. Very seriously.
That makes one of us.
Awesome.
So we have about 5 minutes left. Allie, did you have a second project, or was that your pumpkin project?
No, yeah, this was it, and then I guess the chicken video was the other one. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Chicken.
Fun.
Yeah, the chicken video was great. So does anybody else have anything they want to? Any ideas for pumpkin hacking for next year, or?
Allie sent me an interesting video over Instagram Reels of someone cooking an egg on a 3D printer bed.
Oh,
and so I was thinking, what if you
Emily.
stick? Yeah, well, I don't watch Instagram Reels that often, so I didn't recognize the person. But what if you create an oven inside of a pumpkin and bake a pumpkin pie inside
That
of a
would be
pumpkin using
fun.
heating elements that you have?
I haven't thought that far
Put on
ahead.
fire in the process. I mean, you've done that before.
You could take the easy bake oven approach and just stick a 100-watt incandescent light bulb inside there.
It's got to be more dangerous.
It is not.
100-watt
dangerous
incandescent
than a
light bulb inside of a
flamethrower?
pumpkin isn't dangerous enough.
I have some of those heating elements from inside of heat guns. I think that might do the trick.
You gotta
That would
cook an
cook
egg in
it
a few
fast.
seconds instead of a few minutes.
Yeah. If you
Yeah, why
add up,
cook your-
if you multiply the temperature and the time it needs, then you can do it a lot faster.
Exactly. Why
Just
cook
remember,
your,
there's a lot of moisture in a pumpkin, and if you heat it fast enough, it'll turn into like a giant popcorn. Build all that steam pressure and.
I would be so interested in seeing a popcorn pumpkin.
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
Now that you brought it up, I'm kind of thinking about
Would
that.
you have to do that in a vacuum or?
I don't
how
know.
would-
I don't
We
think
can
so. I
always
think
make a vacuum. That's not that hard.
We built a vacuum chamber before.
Yeah.
just need to build
yeah.
enough steam fast enough.
We'll just make sure Elijah is doing all the handiwork. That way, if something horrible happens, we're all safe.
On Mythbusters, Elijah, were you on that episode or were you on Laser?
The episode where we
For Can You
I-
Scream in Space?
Yeah, no, I was on that episode. Sorry, I was
Okay.
thinking about the chamber we made for. There was one that you weren't on. It was the mayonnaise one, but that wasn't a vacuum chamber.
Oh, yeah. That was
I remember
the
Can
weather
You Scream in
chamber.
Space. Yeah.
I
Out
haven't
of
thought-
context mayonnaise.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Watch Mythbusters Jr.
We should have gotten an intern and put them in the vacuum chamber, and then they get $1 for each minute they survive.
That sounds
Well,
like a
we
Mr.
did
Beast.
make that meat man and he smelled awful. Do you remember that? He was made out of ground beef and stuff. That was
I
that
don't
was-
remember that.
Anyway,
I
on
did that.
note-
Yeah, I did that personally. I have a video where I made a meat baby and I speak entirely in French because it was a French project.
Some things are better without an explanation.
Yeah. I haven't thought that far yet for next year's Hack a Pumpkin. I'm very much a project by project person, so I'll leave that for future Jay in 2024. That'll be his problem. Present Jay has no idea.
Well,
But in terms of dream projects, not in terms of next Hack a Pumpkin project, I really want to make an Amazon package stealing drone. And I've been mentioning this for multiple years, but I'm just going along each of the steps I would need to do this and teaching myself each of the things that I would need. For example, this project has given me a really in-depth review of TensorFlow and how to train models and stuff like that. And in order to make an Amazon package stealing drone, I need to make a model for Amazon packages in order to detect it. And And so, yeah, no, that's really just the dream project I'm working towards right now.
I mean, if we're going crazy programming, I'll probably go crazy AI. But I did try to make an AI think it was me before, but that didn't turn out very well.
That's terrifying. Well, it is spooky season, so on that note, I don't know what I'm gonna make for next year for Hack a Pumpkin, but it'll be the 8th annual Hack a Pumpkin, 8 years. So stay tuned for next year, I guess.
Crazy 8s. We'll just start with that.
Jack-o'-lantern, but it's an HED.
Well, we are at time. So with that, I think we're going to sign off for the 7th annual Hack a Pumpkin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. And it was great talking to you. It was great to see your pumpkins. And until next year, may Hack
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.